YouTube. How y'all doing? Hope you're all getting some bench time in, having a great Saturday morning. Well, we're kind of getting into Saturday afternoon, especially depending on your time zone. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a shop update today. We've had some very productive time here. We've got the dart back in the oven. The chassis and stuff is all clear coated now. We've got some detail that we kind of wanted to seal in there, and I decided to throw the body back in there a little bit, just give it a little more bake time here for a couple more hours. And the plan is then to let it sit for about an hour outside here in the ambient air here, and then we'll get the benches prepped here, you know, meaning cleaned, and we're going to start laying some decals down today. So very excited to get to that point, get some decals down, and then we can get into the bare metal foil aspect of it. And that's really gonna capitalize on a lot of the detail work at this point. We've got all the wheels and tires put together. The brakes are all on the wheels and tires, so they're literally assembly chunks at this point. The motor is pretty much 75% done. We still got to do the transmission yet. I've changed my mind 3 times on what transmission route I wanted to put in it, but we have locked that in, so we're good to go. The interior tub is pretty much 80% done. I think we're gonna flock it, even though those cars, they didn't have carpet in them. Some guys do. I personally, in my one-to-ones, I put a real thin layer of carpet down and take some of that tinny noises out of there too, especially when you're undoing seat belts and stuff like that. So I just like that thin layer of carpet. So I think we're gonna flock that interior on this dart, and we're gonna be good to go. So anyhow, let's roll that commercial and we'll get right back at it. Hang on. Again, we got to say thank you to those fine supporters of this channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. That's one thing I really pride myself on, is all the working relationships that I've had successfully over the years. And now that we're into the models at a, you know, much more involved pace, it's great to be involved with these model companies as well. So again, thank you to those fine folks. Again, if you like this content, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. I really appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, please go down there and subscribe. If you love the content that much, which I don't know why you would, but if you do, please ring that bell so you get that notifications, and then you'll see more of the videos as we post them. We are coming into the summer months here, and we're probably going to try and get some more one-to-one events videos edited and clipped in and show that on the channel. The editing part is relatively very new to me, and I'm slowly getting better at it, and I'm trying to produce better content for the subscribers that I have. I appreciate every one of you fine folks that subscribe to this and watch this stuff, and I want to do a better job of making it somewhat enjoyable, entertaining, and yet informative. That is the main thing for me. Doing any of this, especially even with the show, is to try and inspire people and try and be informative to people, because there's lots of questions in every hobby or every type of thing that people may do, and especially in a world today where a lot of people, I think, are kind of scared to do stuff on their own without screwing something up. People are very scared to take that risk and just do it. Give it a try. You're gonna make mistakes, but to me, that's how you learn, is you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you try better on the next one or the next one. So let's get into this. So to start off, we have gotten a lot done on the Dart chassis. The interior tub's pretty much done. The Dart chassis's got a bunch of detail. I decided to put a little layer of clear coat on there to kind of seal in that detail in case we have a little accident. We can clean up just in case. The Dart body, blah 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 blah. No, the Dart body is back in the oven with the chassis and a few other parts. So we did successfully paint that on Tuesday. It's been in and out of the oven multiple times to get it to gas out, to get the paint to bake down a little bit. I decided to throw it back in there for a couple more hours, and then we'll leave it sit here for probably an hour on the bench to get back into ambient temperature. And so while all that's going on, I'm cleaning up the shop here. So we're gonna clean up. The bench is a mess from doing all these parts and details and trimming and stuff. So we're gonna get all the particles and stuff cleaned up. We're gonna get all the parts that are kind of assembled already for the Dart. We'll put them off to the side in a little tray, and then we'll just really get it organized. And then we'll start laying some decals this afternoon. Probably hang out with the boys and get some more done. But for right now, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you something that I got the itch to make again last night. As many of you modelers, I'm the same way, is that there's certain things that I just don't like to buy, or they don't even produce, and I make some things around the shop, well, both shops, just on my own. If you got the means to do it, just do it, right? And this particular item is something you could do out of any type of material. You just need to make sure you got some weight to it. So as many of you know, I do have the gallery little stands, and they're great, don't get me wrong, they're great, but they're just easy to tip over and knock over. And sometimes for me, I like to just disconnect the line, put the brush in this holder, and then go grab a few more parts if that's what I need to do, and I will leave the paint in the cup. I don't like that for the gallery stand, because sometimes if you go to grab the brush, you kind of, you klutzy. It's happened to me, nobody's perfect, and you knock the brush over and the paint's in it. So I decided, this was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, I made this. So I made this chunk of aluminum out in the shop, machined it, put some holes in it, and I've got 4 brushes sitting in there. So it's great. But now I've gotten a couple more other brushes, and I want them out, and I've designated some out for primers, I've designated some out for clears, and then my base coats. And then like this little Mobius brush here with this teeny little cup, this thing is great for just putting a couple little drops in there, and you can do some quick stuff real quick. So last night after dinner, I was like, oh yeah, let's go out in the shop and start. So we started on another one. We've got 6 mounting spots on this one. We've got to deburr this yet, and then we'll clean it up, and then we're gonna incorporate this over by the booth, and we'll probably run this one this way, and we'll put the 4-place one in front of it, and we'll have up to 10 locations for airbrushes to sit and be ready to go. There is a drawer right below it, so when I'm not using the brushes, I can put the brushes in the drawer below it, so they're not getting all dusty or whatever. But for the most part, the brushes are always getting used in this shop here. If it isn't models, it's RC. There has been times where there's something for out there in the shop. I'll bring small parts in here and I'll airbrush some stuff for big car stuff. But for the most part, I have a setup out there that I should show you that sometime. I do have a setup to choke down the air effectively from the big compressor as well. And that is very portable, to where if you were to airbrush anything on the graphics or something on a one-to-one car, this thing moves around with it. So I'll have to show you that another time. So that's what we're doing today. But also, as that stuff's baking, I wanted to prep some parts. So I have 2 kits I'm going to show you here. And the first one is one of those kits that we're going to prep parts for. So we've got this cool little Iceman Collections Moto Campo scooter, bike, mini bike, scooter, whatever you'd like to call it. Really kind of a neat deal. There's a few of these builds that I want to have scooters and stuff. I've got a semi that we're going to work on here with a humongous trailer, and we are going to have this kind of set up to where the race cars can go in there, and you got to have pit bikes. So I want to get going on this. I believe this is something that just relatively come up on Joel's site recently. So I'm pretty sure they're available if you're interested in this. But this thing is really, really cool. It's got a nice little fat slick on the back. I think it's going to be cool. So I have another little mini bike, and that's what stemmed this one too. This was kind of cute, neat. It's all printed in like its own little crate, and there's not a ton of parts to it, so it should be a relatively somewhat simplistic build to kind of get done in a short period of time here. So like I said, most of these parts I can have glued on sticks today. I have some black base parts that I gotta shoot for the dart build, and I figured, hey, let's do all the chrome pieces that I want for this. And then I got another little mini bike that comes with the MPC Ram truck that we are putting on this project. So we're going to grab those parts as well, and that's this guy right here. So we're building a Dodge pulling truck here. So that's turning out to be a lot of fun. I still haven't figured out what kind of power plant we're gonna put in that guy, but more to come on that later. And then we picked up one of these. Now, I know when this kit came out, I can't remember who, what, or where I was. I don't remember if it was alive or not, but I remember talking to a few people, and about, I was excited about this, and some people were like, yeah, they could have not released that. I could care less. But for me, I was excited. I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what the quality is like, being it's a re-release. But to me, the main thing is the body for me. I am personally a fan of this grille and the 2 headlights versus the 4 headlights on the Chevelles. And that stems to an old childhood memory. I had a friend of mine that I grew up with. That was one of his first cars, was this year's Chevelle. And I still, to this day, remember that car, how he used to beat the crud out of that car, and it was just a really, really fun car. So I really enjoyed that, and so I think I always fell in love with that year Chevelle because of the memories of that car. So, and I think my buddy wishes he still had the car himself too. So it was something that you had as a young man, and then life kicks you in the butt and you do other things, and he sold it and bought other cars. So that's the agenda that we've got today. Really looking forward to that. So right now we've got a lot of things going on here. We've got the Clash of the Champions RC race in the background. We're watching that as well. That's really cool. It's all the vintage RC cars and kits that these guys have rebuilt, resurrected, and they've even gotten a lot of the old pros to come and race that race right now, which is at the Hoosier RC complex in Indiana. And that's really, really cool to see. Even Stinky Pinky, Mr. Dean Carnes, is there, especially being that they did a tribute to Brian Dunbar, which just recently passed not that long ago. Dean Carnes was really tight with Brian as a friend, and Brian was a heck of a RC driver. Did it for many, many decades. Great guy as well, and it was sad to hear that the world lost Brian about a month and a half or so ago. So that was really sad. So if you want something to do, go check that out. It's on Mod Media. A buddy of mine from Minnesota here that kind of does a lot of the announcing for the RC races up in this area, Joe Zer. He's doing the RC announcing for Mod Media with Matt Olson, which is really, really cool to see. And we're going to just keep going on. So that's going to be our day. We're going to get some stuff done, and we're going to have a lot of fun. As you might have heard, the timer is up on the Dart. So that means that I'm behind schedule again, and I need to get this stuff cleaned up. And we're going to let that cool for about an hour, and we're going to get on that decals. So this should be fun. These decals are going to take a while. So who knows? We'll see how the night goes, and we might even do a little spy shot of the Dart with the decals on it here before we drop the body on the chassis. So have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.